And hello, welcome to Solo Playthroughs. We are gonna get the one and only episode of First Martians on the channel. Uh, yeah, it's alright. It's Robinson Crusoe, but better and worse simultaneously. I enjoy it to an extent. I finished the first. I played through the first three scenarios, and then it just, I don't really feel a need to go on. I heard the scenarios, the campaigns are really where this comes to life. I am not going to. I'm not going to experience that for myself. It's just too much of a time commitment, and there's just a bunch of other games I want to be playing right now. But yeah, I feel like this will be a nice little epilogue to the Crusoe videos that I did. We can kind of get this on the channel, and people can see what it's all about. It is the rulebook is as flawed as advertised. I will say that for sure. So this is the rulebook. I did go ahead and print it off not only the fan-written rulebook, which makes this a lot more palatable, but then also the almanac off of Board Game Geek. So, and this is quite lengthy and just gives you a better idea of how this game is supposed to go. So, it is what it is. The base game. There is no expansion to this. If you don't know the backstory of First Martians, it was a very heralded game. Came out around the same time as Scythe, but despite it being initially sold at the price of 60 or 70 bucks, now you can pick it up for about 15 or 20. And there's a reason for that. Now, again, it's a ton of game for the price, and that I will not deny. Whether or not it's worth your time and effort even at that price, that's not for me to determine. But if you love Crusoe, I think there's a lot for you to like here as well. I still get stuck in the same problem I have with Crusoe, as I feel like a lot of the scenarios just gave you this roadmap to win, and there wasn't much deviation, right? There wasn't much room for feeling clever, for creativity, for seeing new things happen that you didn't expect. The narrative here is more interesting in a sense because you're on Mars, but the implementation and execution, Crusoe probably has a leg up on it. The use of the app, I think, hurts. Crusoe, you would see what was happening and you see what was coming up next, and you knew what you had to deal with. So at least you had, some ability to make decisions based on risk reward. Here, that doesn't happen as much because, this might get worse in the future, but you don't really know what. And you're honestly, your action economy is so tight, you don't really have time to deal with it, even if you did know what it was half the time. So a lot of variance, a lot of luck in this game. I feel like the designer just wanted to punish you a lot. One of the things I read once about game design, that sometimes designers they design games and they just feel like they're the game, so they don't want to lose, so they do all these things just to screw the players, and they feel like, I got them. But if you get too much of that in a game, it doesn't make for a very good game. And I do think that Crusoe has a little bit of this. I feel like this takes that to another degree, where it's like, wow, you're so clever, Mr. Designer, all the ways that you can screw me. Yes, I don't know. A lot of it feels random and arbitrary, and not really tied to any theme. One of the reviews I read about this game was how it's kind of strange, where it's like, hey, I'm exploring on Mars, look at all this random stuff that's going to happen, and it's like, that's not how Mars missions work. So you do have to suspend disbelief going in, and then all this random crap happens, and you're just like, why did that? Okay, great. So I just turned another 3 cubes red, and now I need to deal with that or whatever. But again, I'm trying to be more positive. Again, I think if you're here to see how this plays, this will be a good example of it. And it is the one scenario I do find a little fun. So we'll do that, and then I'll probably get this game out of my house. So, probe on the loose introduction, MCEI. Guys, we seem to have lost control over one of the probes. It was supposed to deliver the rock samples to the depot, but we believe it's currently driving away from the hub. We suggest you look for it ASAP. It is still emitting signals as it goes. Hub. So this is the hub. This is where the astronauts are. There will be 2 astronauts. You don't play true solo with Friday like you do. Obviously, Friday's not in space. That'd be crazy. So instead of playing true solo and having like a friend, you're playing 2 astronauts. And just playing true solo with 2 astronauts. The benefit, you also get what's called the auto scanner, and then you have access to AOMs and automated machines, and I will get to those as we go. All right, so the hub, which is basically the astronauts saying, what do you need us to do? And the MCEI says, establish its route first. You don't have much time. The signal will probably weaken as the damn thing gets further away. Feed the coordinates into the computer to determine the probe's current position, salvage what you can, and bring it back to the hub. Whatever happened there, we'll try to use the data to prevent it from happening again. The hub, roger that, we're on our way. MCEI, I'm assuming is Houston. I'm not really sure. Somebody can tell me what the acronym is down in the comments. Okay, but remember that something is distorting the signal. Double and triple check. Don't let the data fool you. So there are 8 sols. Sols are rounds or days on Mars. And then there are different, each mission has objectives. So the objectives for this mission is the runaway probe is an important device and a costly one too. You have to basically find it and bring it back. And basically to do that, you have to trace a signal from where it started to run away from the hub out to the 3rd ring. So the way, instead of having island tiles like you do in Crusoe, here you're going to be putting out these tiles, and they're these ring tiles, and you have ring 1 tiles, ring 2 tiles, and ring 3 tiles. Now ring 3 cannot go there or there, but can go in any of the other 6 spots, because basically this is cut into 8 different quadrants, or not, I guess quadrants is 4. So 8 different half quadrants. What, octagons? Somebody tell me the word for that. All right. So once you create the chain of 7 signals, which you'll see how that plays out, you have created a path to the lost probe, and then you need to find 2 samples, because basically on the as you form that path, you will put these little black tokens to indicate things that are dropped by the probe. All right, and then you can gather those, and then once you gather 2 of those, then you can also gather up the probe itself on the last, wherever it is, wherever the signals led you. All right, so we will see how that plays out. There's some gameplay changes which you'll see, and then you will there's some different special actions, right? So in rounds 1, 2, or 3, we can take a special kind of research action. Research are the blue dice. Explore is the green dice, just like Crusoe, and then gather is the gray dice. I think that's also just like Crusoe, and then build is the brown dice. These are the automated machine cards. I can't find, for some reason, it's somewhere around here. I can't find the automated machine for the build action, so I just am using an upgrade card that, again, I'm actually using the upgrade card for the auto scanner, but because I'm playing with less than 4 players, auto scanner is already in play, so I'm just going to use the upgrade card there. It's brown, so that helps. All right, so there's different things we can do with research actions to add additional signals on the board. So basically, we only need to get 7 in a line, so they can be, they have to be adjacent places. You don't have to explore everything that has a signal, but you do, to actually explore something, where you explore does have to be adjacent to another tile, just like Crusoe. You're basically, again, forming you'll be forming these tiles out, and then you have to do it in a certain way. Again, there's certain things that can happen there for sure. Okay, so the rest of these are, again, more special research actions. So we'll be using these directional cards. This will determine where the signals are. You can kind of thin this deck out, almost like the anti-deck builder, to try to get the signals land more where you want them to. So that's a research action, and you can just remove 2 chosen direction cards from the game. Most actions are just like Crusoe, where it's like 2 guarantee success, 1 you'd have to roll, and then you have, again, the success dice, the damage die, and then the adventure dice. The adventures, instead of having adventure decks, they're all controlled by the app that we will use. And then the number of pawns that this takes, it depends on what soul you're in. So to do that in the first round, it only takes one one character, and that's actually not a bad deal, right? So we can maybe thin that out right in the first round. So area analysis is another research action. It will let you take 2 signals that are in places that aren't helpful for you, and you could put it again on. So there's only going to be one time you can do area analysis for each ring. So you can take 2 signals anywhere on the board, and you can put one in the chosen ring that you chose. And then step-by-step analysis, another research action where you can do take a research action, discard 1 white marker from any area, and then you could move it to an adjacent ROI in the same ring. So if I had a signal here on the second ring and I wanted to move it over here, I could take that step-by-step analysis and move it this way. There are 2 special build actions. One, you could do a build action. You could spend a spare part. So there's 4 different kinds of parts. There are oxygen parts, energy parts, gear parts, and I really have no idea. It looks like an amoeba with cilia to me. It's a little furry thing part, so that you can spend those to make repairs and whatnot. Well, if you spend this little gear part, you can choose not to roll these malfunction dice, and we'll get into how the malfunction dice work, because again, the designer of this game wanted to make sure that your life was going to be difficult, because it just needs to be difficult. That is the fun, right? Exactly. All right, temporary base. Now you can take a build action on an explored region. So ROI is a phase I'll be using. ROI, region of interest. Each one of these little tiles is an ROI. So you can take an explore action. Sorry about that. I was holding those cards. Each one of these tiles is an ROI, no matter how. So all rings. So these are also ROIs, even though they're bigger. Each one of those actions, you can take an explore action on an ROI and spend an oxygen part to put a white marker on that ROI, and that will be, you can basically create a temporary base, and for the rest of the game you can count distance from there. And count distance is important because every time you move away from a hub, you'll see these minus pawn symbols. That basically means, just like it does in Crusoe, you need to spend 1 more pawn to do any action on that region of interest, right? So there's maybe a reason why at some point you're like, all right, well, let's make a temporary base so we can have better action economy in the final couple of souls and get this thing done. So we're not going to need these research tracks here. This is a system block, living block, working block. The colors coordinate with these things here. So the working block is this block, you can see there. This will be a yellow deck. We have an orange deck and a red deck, and this indicates what dice we're rolling, and basically determines how quickly malfunctions may or may not happen in our little hub here. So I'm going to put the probe on the loose. Now this is the second. They came out with a list of the recommended order that you play these scenarios. This is supposed to be the second one you play. Again, I've only played 3. And then I just figured this was the more fun for me, so I'm just going to come back and do this one for the channel as my one and only foray into First Martians here. So I'm going to open up the app, and let's go. First Martians. Ooh, we get some First Martian ambience. I'm going to shut that off. All right, so single scenario. We're going to do a exploration scenario, and that's going to be probe on the loose. So now I need to get 2 of our, well, this should fit right there. Nice. So I'll put the direction cards up there. It's fine. So we need to get 2 of our crew. I have them over to the right of me. So there are 4 different crew members. We have the scientist, we have the engineer, we have the geologist, and we have the medic. I'm just going to randomly choose. So I get number 1. We're going to get ourselves the scientist, which, although that might sound exciting, he's not that great for this scenario, although he does allow us a reroll for research actions. And again, there are a bunch of special research actions. And I'm going to give the scientist these black-gray pawns. They went with like a translucent look with the pawns. I wish they just didn't, because sometimes the colors kind of start merging when you start combining them, so it's going to be a little annoying. Now I'm going to roll for the second one. I rolled a 2, so that's going to get us the engineer, and the engineer will help us maybe fix some things around the hub. So he can re-roll brown dice by spending one, again, determination token as we go. So these cards are skills. Now in the campaigns, I guess you can do things to unlock certain skills. In the standalone scenarios, you have access to them. So we'll kind of see how they play out once we start getting tokens, and I can figure out what might be useful. But the Mother of Invention will basically allow us to draw a random upgrade card. We can spend 2 to reduce the malfunction level on a certain block, or we can spend 3 to choose a broken part of the hub and repair it automatically without even having to spend the extra part to fix it. That can be pretty useful, so I'll just put them here. And then the scientist, his 3 skills are, he can do educated choice. He can spend 2 to draw. When he draws research cards, he can draw 2 and choose 1. That's not going to really apply in this scenario. The educated choice, he can spend 2 of his determination tokens and 1 sample. The sample are going to be blue cubes that we'll pick up as we go. Not really in this scenario, but you could in other scenarios. You can put a black marker on the topmost empty slot of the growth track, etc., etc. So some research stuff. Again, not something we'll be doing a lot of in this scenario. And then finally, joining forces, you can spend 2 determination tokens and 1 blue cube from the cargo bay, and every other astronaut grab gets 2 determination tokens again. So these skill cards are kind of garbage for us right now. But again, the spend 1 to reroll any blue dice could really come in handy. So had I gotten like the medic or the geologist, the geologist is really good at exploring, so I would have probably been looking more to increase our morale track. But with these skills, I'm not that excited about any of them, so we'll see how I want to work the morale track, and if I really wanted to start accumulating any of those determination tokens. All right, so look, this is the first player marker. I'm going to, again, we have the scientist, we have the engineer, begin mission. I'm going to play on medium. One of the things that tilts me about this game, the easy, medium, hard settings, just give me easy, standard, hard. Because like medium, like who gets really excited about, I want a game on medium? Like, what is that? That's the worst. It's like a little thing, but it's such a tilting design decision from where I'm sitting. So all right, so we're gonna play on medium. So I'm gonna treat that as standard. Now the setup, again, you see all these facilities, they have to be laid out separately. So you have this giant board, and then all these facilities go on. And you'll notice all these green cubes indicate that things are operating normally. Plus you have the white cubes at the top to indicate what kind of production we have. Right now we start the game with 10 production in energy, 8 production in oxygen, and we start the game with 2 fully grown plants, which means that we'll produce 2 food a turn, barring something unusual happening. All right. So we are going to put these are trackers. So this is just like extra energy, extra oxygen, and extra energy and extra food that we start the game with. So we start with a supply of 10 in all 3 of those categories. All right. So I'm going to continue there. I did all the facility tiles. I'm going to put the status. So normally it's green, 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 but in this scenario, it's going to be red for the system block. And it's going to be green for the living block, which is the orange, and the working block, which is the yellow. I'll put that there. We're going to go again. I'm going to draw 3 malfunction cards. So these need to be shuffled a little bit. And then it says to draw complication cards. So there are keywords on these cards, and you basically will discard cards until you get a card that matches the keyword. So this is the malfunction deck for the working block. This is the malfunction deck for the living block. Again, it's orange. And then you notice it goes up to red. So in theory, when things start happening bad on the red, that's going to be worse for you. So red, caution, caution. So you got some issues that you might want to address, and we'll kind of see how that plays out. So I need to draw 1 for each malfunction card until we get a complication. So is that a complication? Yes. Complication, working bay, laser not responding, check connection. The part is now broken. What part's not broken? Well, this part's now broken. That's not the working bay. So I just have these in backwards order. I'm going to quick move those over. Great. So So now this is broken. All right, so we have this little gear. So this is going to go from red to green to red. And then there's a symbol there. And that means that during the production phase every round, I'm going to have to put the -1 thing there, which means that every time I want to do a build action until I fix that, it's going to take me 1 extra pawn, including the action to fix that itself. So that's a little bit annoying there. We'll go to the complication for the living block. That is an issue, not a complication. That's an obstacle. That's another obstacle. That's a struggle. Complication. So crew quarters, wrong code, try again. This part is now broken. What part? Again, the little squiggly amoeba. So this is going to go there, and that goes from green to red. And what that means is that when I do the unwind action, I'm going to have to roll a die. It's going to be a gray die. I'm going to have to roll a die for success, even if again, this only takes 1 pawn, right? So I wouldn't need to roll normally, but to do this action, I will need to roll and get a success in order to make sure that I can succeed until I fix that. So again, I do start with 1 squiggly amoeba and 1 gear, so I can fix those 2 with the parts I currently have, but also not great. Just making sure it's gray for unwind. Yep, it is. Cool. And then up here, is that a complication? No, it's an obstacle. That's an obstacle. Complication, solar panels crash. This part is now broken. What part? This part. So there's 2 solar panels. I'll just choose the first one, and that's going to go from green to red, like so. All right, so I'm going to go next, roll all 3 malfunction dice, and resolve the result. So I'm throwing this red die around like crazy. I rolled, it's a 3, a 1, and a 1. So the yellow is the 1. That's going to go up to the 1. Orange is a 3, and the red goes up to the 1. The red die I'm going to put here because that's a red marker. Since these are both green, I'm going to put the orange and the yellow die off to the side. Nice. We have our players. We're going to have we have the direction deck. I'm going to, again, there are 8 cards in here. I'll just kind of shuffle these up. And I'll actually put them down here. And then we're going to take 2 upgrades, I believe. We place 6 white markers on the spaces provided in the error analysis. So we got to put markers in these little special research actions I was talking about. So ring 1, ring 2, ring 3, ring 1, ring 2, ring 3. And next, we're going to draw 2 random upgrade cards. So I already took the auto scanner out of there because we already have that. I'm going to draw 2 random upgrade cards, and we can't use reconnaissance satellites. Whatever. Let's see what I pull. I pull tech room, and I pull power generator. So these cards can be used in 2 ways. These are things that I can build by using a build action, or at any point I can just discard them and forget those extra parts. So I'm going to use these and cover up the round order there because I don't find that little thing up there very helpful. And these are, if we build them, we just take the corresponding tile and then we put it on the upgrade, just like we did with the auto scanner automatically. Power generator. So if I build a tech room, I can re-roll the brown die once per action, which is pretty strong actually. I'm not sure I've ever actually purchased that. So that would go to tech room. So yeah, that would go there. That's actually a really nice one. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one yet. And then the power generator, if you may choose 1 broken lightning bolt part, 1 broken energy part, ignore its cost penalty until the end of the round. All right. So that is that. Mission begins. We again start with 1 of each of those spare parts. You will notice, so I have there's these points of interest. These are basically the discovery token version. There's not a lot of them, but I still just put them in a thing. So when you unearth one of those rings, it might have a symbol on it like that, which means that you would take one of those points of interest. I'm going to shuffle these. I find they're usually not that great. I find the ones in Robinson Crusoe a lot more thematic and a lot more interesting. Condition tokens, these are basically things that will happen to your character and make your life harder because, again, that's what this game is all about. And then we have spare parts. you often have to pull them randomly. So I just put them all in a bag. And if we have to find a certain one, then I'll just go digging a little bit. You do not have a ton of health. Each of your astronauts only has 6. So it will go here, and if you take another damage, boom, you're dead. So don't do that. And then you'll have just like when instead of your morale going down like it does in Crusoe, instead you'll go over that thing and you'll have to take condition tokens from the condition bag. And we'll kind of talk about that. But that is it. We are ready. We're going to play. Probe on the loose. I already read the flavor text from the thing. I'll just read the last line. The probe is on the loose and any minute counts. Stop whatever you're doing and sit at the computers. You have a lot of data to sieve through before you find the device. All right. So we go to Sol 1. I have my little marker there. Yeah, so it says the roll of red dice. So that's like basically our weather dice, if you want to think about it that way. So yeah, I know that malfunction thing's already red, so we would have to roll that anyway. But I guess it really wanted to let you know you have to roll that red die. All right, thanks, dude. Okay, so event phase. The living block is highlighted. We have to advance the red thing in the living block up 1. That's going to malfunction. That's fine. Log entry. Today is not a good day, not a good week, not a good month, not a good... I don't know. All right. Each astronaut rolls the brown wound die. On a wound, must discard 2 chosen seal cards. They cannot use them in this mission. Fine. So again, it's not gonna really upset me because I don't really like my skills with this mission anyway. So I did not roll that for the engineer. I did not roll that. So I'm going to save all my wound rolls for later. That's fine. Next phase. The first player, so we're in a morale phase. We're at 0, so I don't gain or lose any determination tokens. Obviously, I don't have any yet anyway. So next phase. Production. Now, a couple of things. So we have to check our oxygen and our energy. So oxygen, there are 13 facility tiles. 10 of them use energy and 8 of them use oxygen. So as long as we're producing at the top, we know we're good. If our production was ever lowered and we were not providing oxygen, then there would be shutdown tiles that we'd have to put on and choose. We can never have more facilities open than oxygen or energy that we're producing, right? So if I had 9 facilities that had that electrical lightning bolt and I was only producing 8 energy, I would actually have to shut down 2 of those facilities. The converse works too. If I was ever producing, there are certain scenarios where you're making backup generators and stuff like that. If I was ever producing more energy, then I had facilities using energy, then I could store that excess energy, but that's a whole other thing. And you can never voluntarily choose to shut down something to store the extra energy, so you actually have to use it if you have it. All right. So we're good with oxygen, we're good with energy. Now, if I had any plants there, I could move them along and try to get another full-grown plant, but I can never have a full-grown plant more than I actually have a greenhouse to house it, and I have as many greenhouses as I have astronauts. So again, we're not really going to be dealing with that this scenario. We increase stress by the number of astronauts because clearly NASA did a horrible job in choosing these astronauts, and they are volatile and will be very violent toward each other because that makes sense. And then we're going to resolve the penalties of broken gears in the working block. So that's a broken gear up there. We don't resolve that until later, right? You'll see the plus thing there. But we do have to resolve this. And as I said, because we're resolving this now, we have to put this in the exclamation point space. So that's going to go right there. Not great. Check the mission sheet for special production rules. What's our special production rule for this one? All right, the probe is going to emit signals in round 1. We're going to add 3 signals to R1, 2 signals in R2, and 1 signal in R3. So I'm discarding 6 cards. So I discarded east, northeast, west, northwest, north, and south. So we're going to put... there's a bunch of little reminder tokens here. So I'm going to use the reds. It doesn't really matter what color we're using. So in ring 1, I'm going to put a signal in the east biquadrant, whatever it is. I'm putting a signal in the northeast. I'm putting a signal in the west. In the second ring, I'm putting a signal in the northwest. I'm putting a signal in the north. And in the third quadrant, I'm putting a signal in the south. Obviously, all the way down in the south is not that useful for us, but that is fine. This is a nice, that's got some potential. Now, these signals, again, we need to get 7 in a line, and they have to be in a line in adjacent spaces. We don't have to explore all the spaces they're in, but we have to be in a line in adjacent spaces. So and we will have to explore out to the 7th one eventually, right? You can have as many signals as you want in any one region of interest, any one ROI, right? So right now, if we're looking at this, we can potentially do something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then try to find a way to get 6 and 7 around here. Remember, we can't explore here, we can't explore here, so we'll see how this all plays out. So that is everything in the production. Oh, by the way, so once we finish these objectives, let's go to the next phase. So now we have our objective sheet on the app. There's a quest log, create a chain of 7 signals. We can gather 2 samples, black markers, and then we can take the explorer and gather actions on the last ROI in the chain. Dun, dun, dun. Great. So we have to do all 3 of those things. Additionally, we have to check our threshold. The threshold is we can only have max 6 broken parts in the hub. If we have more than 6 broken parts in the hub, even if we do all of that, it doesn't matter. We are big losers. So the fact that I have the engineer and the fact that the engineer can fix stuff is definitely something to consider. So now I have to assign my pawns. Here's my AOMs. So these automated machines, when you're playing solo with 2 astronauts, you get to get all 4 of those automated machines, but you can only use 2 of them in any one soul. So I have 4 there, but I have to choose every round which 2 I want to use. The rules get different. Like I think when you're playing with 3 players, you can only choose to bring 1. If you're playing with 2 players, even though you have the same amount of pawns, I think it's like you choose which 2 you want to bring. I'm not really sure why they do that with 2 players, because I feel like 2 good players and 1 good, whatever, it is what it is. So we have all 4 AOMs. I'll take whatever bone they want to throw me in this game, and then we'll have all 4 AOMs. We can choose whatever 2 we want to do. All right. Additionally, we have our 2 little friends. We have Froggy and Scorpio. So Froggy is only used for explore actions. Scorpio can be used for explore, can be used for gathering, it can be used for research, it can be used for building outside the hub. So you can't use Scorpio for anything inside the hub, but outside the hub he can do a lot of magical things for you, right? So I do need to explore. So how is this going to work? So I'm going to assign Froggy. Now Froggy can do this, but you don't actually need a human astronaut to do an action with Froggy. But if you do spend, so if something were to happen to Froggy, instead of, you'd have to say, all right, which human is controlling him from afar, and that anything that would happen to Froggy would obviously happen to the astronaut. Froggy can't take damage, the astronaut can't. So I do want to explore there. I think that makes some sense. I think we can also do, so if I'm reading imagery analysis right, so it's a normal research action, so 1 to roll, 2 to succeed, plus the number of pawns times the soul number. So it'd be +1 if we're doing this in the first round, which is fine. We also have that thing that came up. So more than a nap, that event. That it was good, this is good, this is not good, whatever the heck was going on there. I might want to address that. So by addressing it does tell me that I would gain a determination token and prevent future consequences. You just don't know what those future consequences are, which again I think is something that's worse about this game than Crusoe. So I will put the engineer up there to handle that event action, right? So I have him assigned to an event action. We have Froggy. I have basically access to 1 more AOM, and I have access to, 2 AOMs, and I have access to these 3 pawns. Let's boost the morale. I think the engineer, to use him to start fixing things makes sense. That's fine. We do need to, well, we're not building that much. So maybe I don't really care about that, other than the fact that we are going to need to fix some things. Right, so that becomes the problem. Oh, and if I go to here to unwind, that's going to mean I'm going to need to roll the gray die and get a success there because that is there. Interesting. So these last, if I go, again, all these things, this means so it'd be 2 to roll and 3 to see. Why is it 2 to roll? Because again, you're 1 away from the hub, so that -1 does apply. So let me guarantee that success with this AOM. That's fine. And then I'll have these two. I'll do a research action on imagery analysis, and let's remove something from the deck, and let's try to get this thing going north. Though I get to remove 2 cards from the deck. Remove 2 chosen direction cards from the game. Oh, that's ridiculous. Fine, we'll do that. So this is going to go here, and I get to pile 3 on there because again, it's a normal research action +1 because it's only the first soul of the game. Cool. I think that works. Let's carry it out. So I'm not building, so I don't have to worry about that extra. I didn't fix anything, which isn't great, but you know, we'll make it work, I guess. Maybe I can just again keep using those with the engineer, and I can fix something once a round. So that might make more sense than trying to mess around with building dice and all that stuff. The order of action resolution is similar to Crusoe, so we'll resolve the event action. So I'm going to go on the event action space. I go on the app, I press that, so I spent 1 pawn. I'm there with the engineer, so I'm going to get 1 morale token, and then I'm going to prevent future consequences. So done. Great. So that's done. This guy comes back. If the sound was on, you'd hear a ping. Great. I'm going to unwind. So I would succeed, but again, that's messed up. So I do need to roll the gray dice, make sure I succeed. I don't. I get 2 determination tokens, which honestly is almost just as good. Oh, do I get the determination tokens? No, I don't think I actually get the tokens either. No, I didn't roll that. That's garbage. So I have a 1 in 5 chance of succeeding on that, and clearly that didn't work out. We're going to go here with Froggy and this. That succeeds. So we're going to put out a ring 1. So what do we have here? This is the signal stays. There's 2 of those. I don't know why the cubes are just super white. Like, it's really weird because that means you put 2 blue cubes on it. Whatever. That's fine. But you'll see that symbol up there. Every time we take an action on that tile, it means that we're going to have to lose a morale. So that's not great. I'm probably going to move this adjacent. I think that makes the most sense. And then I could do so. So I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for sure. As I kind of set the signals out, and then we're going to go to the research action. Again, I put 2 to guarantee, well, 3 to guarantee, because it was a research action plus X times 1. So these will come off, and that's going to allow me to remove 2 chosen direction cards from the game. I'm going to remove south and southwest. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, southeast, all 3 of those are kind of useless, but south and southwest are going to be out. And then we'll see, just kind of increase my odds for the next round and see where these new signals land. All right, so those are done and shuffled. Those are the end of my actions, so I'm going to go to next phase. We're going to assemble the pool of dice. The only dice we're rolling is the red. Well, number 1 because the rules say, but also 2 because that's a red thing. So I'm going to roll that. It's a 3. That gets me up from a 1 to a 4. If it went to a 5, we'd have to pull another complication or another malfunction card. It didn't. But we also have to add that because that's not fixed. So we actually get to a 5 anyway. So that's really bad. And we do have to pull this card. When I pull the card, so when you're adding dice, so if I had any of those plus things on any other block, you would also move those up corresponding. But unfortunately, I landed there and I rolled a 3 instead of, I think it was like 1/3 of the time we're going to roll a 3. So yeah, I hit it right on the head. Now, because I had a malfunction there, what happens is the working block cube is also turned to red. And now next turn, I'm going to have to roll the yellow and the red. All right. So what do we got? Shoot, obstacle, oxygenator. So the keyword is obstacle. Where am I focusing on? The oxygenator. The pressure regulator is off. I lose 2 oxygen production. So we'll see how that plays out. So I have 2 oxygenators. I will just lose 2 production there. Great. All right, next phase. So cleanup phase. This technically comes off, but I'm going to put it back on next turn. So I'm just going to leave it there until I address that. And then we're going to move the first player token over to the mechanic. Next round. So we go to soul number 2. Okay. Working block has a thing. So I advance the malfunction by 1 there. I click that. The satellite log entry, unusual formations. The satellites show recent storm has uncovered unusual rock formations. Take the direction deck and shuffle it and draw 3 cards. Put 1. Oh, this is going to be bad. So I put 1. Great. So in the east, I put 1 froggy token and 1 POI. I'm not sure why the POI. I guess you get the POI when you go there. I don't know. So froggy tokens mean that if you do an action there, this would be face down. When you do an action there, you would have to you'd have to roll a green die, and there's a chance that you'd break your froggy. And no one wants to break your froggy. That's sad. All right, so we're gonna put this. So that's in the east. This goes in the northwest. These again all go in ring 1. So I put another froggy token there. Again, there are a ton of these status tokens in this game. And then we're going to do the same thing in the north. And that's where I was going to go next. So that does not make me happy. So froggy token and a point of interest. So whenever you go through a space with a token, you do have to resolve that every time. So if I was trying to go that way, now that means I'm going to be froggying myself like crazy. So I think, that morale's bad. I think I'm actually going to now have to change my course and go north. All right, that's fine. I'm going to have to go to the northeast and then go around this way. But I can't be affording to lose my morale every time. I'm shuffling these in with the wrong deck. That's why it's like, why are these colors not matching? All right, the first player gains or discards any number of determination tokens. I don't gain or discard anything because we're at 0 because, again, I rolled the failure when I tried to unwind in the last round. Awesome. Next, we go to production. So we check our oxygen levels. Now, my oxygen production went down to 6. This is bad, right? So what's going to happen is I am going to have to shut down 2 things. All right, so I'm going to take the oxygen shutdown tiles. I'm going to shut down the control center. And I'm going to shut down I do need to gather. So you can't even take the action for anything you shut down. I need all those. I'm not sure I'm going to need the build. The temporary base, though, could be really important, especially if I have that thing to contend with. I will shut down the healing. I'll shut down the med lab, and that's probably something I'm going to want to address pretty quick. All right, so those are now shut down. You'll see how that affects things. So I consume, again, I'm producing 2 food. I have 2 full plants, so we're fine. I'm going to increase the stress by the number of astronauts. So that's 2, but then each of those shutdown tiles gives me 4 more stress combined total. So it's like each of those shutdown tiles give me 2 each, so 4 more total. So I went from 2 stress to 8 stress. Resolve penalties. Again, I resolved that penalty. And then check the mission rules for special production. We're adding 2 signals in R2 and 1 in R3. Again, I'll shuffle this one more time. And we'll see we put this. Goes west, northwest, and southeast. Just awful. So what's going to happen? We're going to put the signals. Here they are. So I'll try to put these out in order. So west is going to get that. Northwest is going to get that. And southeast is going to get that. So there's 9 of these suckers on the board. And we can see how this is playing out. Definitely wish I had searched there. So going through this way is a big problem, because that minus on the morale, considering how things has played out. But if I could move that to there. It's the only thing I'm still kind of committed to it. These are bad. But I can add a signal up here. One. Oh, they have to be adjacent too. They have to be adjacent. Yeah, this froggy token is no joke. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that still makes the most sense. I think I can risk the froggy. And we'll see. Of course, I got no determination tokens. So I can spend 2 pawns to gain 4 determination tokens and prevent future consequences. I think that's a must. Based on where I'm at. Here, that gives us morale tokens, and then I can fix that. It's just, you can use AOM since these are not color code. You can use AOMs for things like event actions and whatnot, which it's kind of counterintuitive, but it's just how it goes, kids. All right, let me try to explore Froggy, and it's a little risky, but I'm going to try to make this happen, and I'll use the AOM for that. Yeah, it should be fine. So I'm going directly from the hub, so I'm not going through there. That's obviously a problem. I'm going to want to do a research action to move this over. Yeah, that's fine. So I'm going to put this and this and do a step-by-step analysis. That's going to allow me to move the 1 to an adjacent area. Now, I'm not doing the research action on that spot. So basically I'm back in the hub, and I'm like I'm at the computer, and I'm like kind of coordinating signals, right? So to see what's going on and trying to find this probe. So I don't have to worry about like that loss of morale or the -1 on there. So that will be fine. I'm going to spend, I've used 2 of my AOMs already. I'm going to do the current action phase, make sure the engineer gets loaded up with some morale tokens here, and I think I do want to take another shot at trying to increase this morale. Why not? What can go wrong? All right, that's fine. So we're going to take care of the event. Engineers going to get 4 determination tokens, and I keep saying determination. They're morale tokens. So Mecha for the geologist, spend 2 to gain 4, prevent future consequences. Done. All right. We're now going to go to the unwind. That would be successful, but we have to roll because that's still broken. Can lightning strike twice? And it does not. Cool. So we actually are successful. So morale goes up. The morale production is now 1 a turn. I do want to get the scientist some things so he can have that use his reroll any blue die. And then we're doing a research action. Oh, we then go in order here. We have the explore action. So after the explore action, we will have to roll to see if Froggy gets hurt. Hopefully not. But we explored. We're going to get ring 1. That goes there. Nice. So we can go through there without any extra penalty, which is really lucky. So that's going to get a blue sample. this goes back. Again, there was the equivalent of three tokens. Froggy's worth 2, and then the AOM. But now we do have to roll the green die. If it's a wound, Froggy is going to be out of commission. It is not a wound. Nice. So that was lucky. This stays on there, and then we get, I'm assuming we get this point of it, this POI that was put on there. So ice field, we get 2 food. Great. That's kind of useless, but it's like bananas. It is what it is. And now we're going to do the research action. The research action is successful because I have the AOM on there and the scientist. And again, I can take on ring 1, I can take 1 signal and I can move it to an adjacent ROI. So we now have 1, 2 there. And actually moving that probably makes no sense, because you don't have to explore everything where the signals are. I'm going to change this. I'm going to do the error analysis. And again, it's still a research action. All right, so error analysis says that I can discard any 2 signals to add 1 signal on any ROI in the chosen ring. So the way I read that, the signals don't have to be on that ring. It's just the ROI does. Now, where you place it cannot already have a signal, so you can't stack, but that's fine. So I'm going to discard 6 and 9, and I'm going to put 3 there next to Froggy. So that's, again, we're going to have to roll that a few times, which isn't great. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know how else we get around it. So that token just stays. But if we can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so we're basically looking at exploring 3 more times. I think it makes sense. If I can get to 5, I can build a new temporary thing there. That would be really helpful. All right, so I did error analysis, and I did that on ring 1, so I can no longer do that same move on ring 1 for the rest of the game. Now I'm going to spend 3 determination tokens, or morale tokens, to do oh yes, I can. I'm going to choose 1 broken part of the hub and repair it automatically. I will choose to repair this one. So now I don't have to worry about the extra actions. I'm not building anything next turn. I want to repair something though. Probably not. Probably not. I will. Yeah, I'll just whatever. We'll just make that smart. Cool. So then we get to the next phase. We assemble the pool of dice. It's going to be both of these dice. So I rolled a 1, but I remember I have that up in the solar panel still. So this goes up 2. And then I rolled a 2 for the yellow. So that goes up to 4. And that's that. So we don't have to draw any of the malfunction cards. We're going to move. I can get my skills back for the next round. And then we're going to get that's it. So then we're going to go to the next phase. So I did this. This would actually stay there even though I fixed that. At the end of the round is when it gets discarded. Just to be really clear there. We're fine. And the first player goes back to Mr. Scientist. All right, next round we go to Soul 3. Okay, working block. So part of the depot, so working block, this goes up 1 in the working, oh shoot, really? So that causes a thing, which means that this goes to red now. So all of it is garbage. We have to pull this. Can the complication lab, this part is broken. Oh, that's not good. So that means that we're gonna have to re-roll. Even though I use enough pawns to guarantee success, I'm still gonna have to re-roll. I'm gonna still have to roll a success with the blue die. So I definitely want to fix that. So we'll see. So part of the depot ceiling fell right on it. Fortunately, nobody was inside. We have to roll the green wound die. So we are. It's like half the time we need a wound, and I think we've 3 times in a row not gotten a wound. Make it 4 on a wound. Turn the frog unit upside down is infallible to the end of the mission. What the? Dude, this game. Again, it's like the arbitrariness. Like, why? Why? Like, tell me why. Like, when I get destroyed by like a freezers, I know why, right? Like when I get, crushed by, Umharthoth, I know why. Like I don't, again, I'm going to go on a little rant, but that's fine. I love this game is what I meant to say. So we're going to, first player is going to gain one determination token or morale token, next phase. So we're good. So we're producing 6 oxygen. We're feeding 6, we're producing 10, we're feeding 10, that's fine. If there's other things you can actually have a shutdown tile for both oxygen and energy on any one facility. But one of the nice things about these being out is I got a complication card that would actually turn, like, they have no effects on those facilities because they were shut down, so it actually can work to your benefit. Now remember, I still have 3 red cubes, so I had 3, I made it 2, now back to 3. I cannot end this scenario with more than 6 if I want to win. So increasing stress goes up by another 6. That means that next turn we're going to start having some issues with some wounds. And then the special mission rules, we're going to add 1 signal to the ring 3. We hopefully can get really lucky here. Give me northwest. No, east. That can't go there. Oh, a signal. All right. Signals can go there, but you just can't explore there. So that technically is the 10th signal that I've put out. I'm just trying to get 7 lined up in a row. So that's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I move this here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, because that 1, right, I didn't explore there, but that's fine. So I just need to move that there. I can totally do that. So we're gonna move on. All right, so I don't have to worry about that working block penalty anymore. I could spend a thing to get 2 random pots. Oh, cleaning up after the accident. I guess Froggy, that was the accident thing. So like sometimes the flavor text is hard to find on these things sometimes too. Let me get this thing lined up. Probably not going to worry about those spare parts. So I'm going to try to research, doing an error analysis. And I will have to roll the blue die anyway. Now remember, I can re-roll any blue die with the scientist and his ability there. And I can do that once around, just like the skills. We're going to explore. So how does this work? So exploring now, since we're going more than 1 step away from the hub, so it's 2 to guarantee success, right? +1, +1. So you have to travel, and the travel cost, it talks about like the trip, right? So it's you don't have to worry about going there and back. You are going there and back. The rules are written really weird about this. But yeah, so there's a -1 there. There's a -1 on this tile. There's no additional cost, right? So because we're going straight from the hub, so we don't have to worry about that morale thing, which is nice. And if I can explore there, then next turn I will try to build a temporary camp there, and hopefully we can keep getting lucky with, even if Froggy gets, knocked out, I can try to, we'll be able to do a build and fix him or whatever. Remember, I can spend the determination token to re-roll brown dice. So I do need 4 to guarantee success. So this is 3 to roll. And I will add mechanic. Like, yeah, we'll do that. That's fine. And now, so I will need to get, I do need to find, I don't need to explore. Again, I don't need to explore everything where a signal is, but I will need to explore there and there, because I will need to, remember, gather there, and you can only gather in a place where there's actually a route to get there. All right, so the scientist should probably, well, I don't know if I'm going to be doing even researching much anymore. I never did the radio monitoring. Yeah, this might be the last resource. Then I will have those signals. I'm going to be doing more gathering than anything else. Oh, one thing. Oh, shoot. So none of these. There we go. So one of the things I should have been doing. So as a special rule, whenever I put out a piece of a ring that has that little symbol, we're supposed to put a black marker on there, and those are those are representing pieces of the probe. We're going to need to gather those. We need to gather 2 of those as part of successfully beating this mission. So I just, again, I'll be exploring 3 more terrains, so I should be able to find 2 more of those before this thing is over. But since I'm probably not researching again, I might, I'm using 2 AOMs. That's fine. Let me guarantee success here, and we'll use this spare part, and let's fix. Do I want to fix that? Yeah, I guess I don't really care about fixing that. I will fix this solar panel. Right? Yeah, we're about to get into a fight next turn, but that's fine. Ooh, well. I will roll to fix a solar panel. And again, it's only going to cost me 1 to roll, 2 to guarantee, because again, I fixed the build last turn. Let's try to heal the med bay, because that actually could be really, really important, depending on how some things start to play out here. All right, so we're going to do our actions. I'm not doing the event this round. I will. That actually happens during the build, so we'll go in order. This is a build. It gets a little confusing where you put things. So we'll go. Am I exploring? Yes, I am. I guaranteed with all 4. So I put 4 pawns, which is enough to guarantee it. So we have successfully explored. Now, since I used Froggy though, and I went through there, I do have to see if he gets wounded. Is he wounded? He is not wounded. Oh, that's amazing. 5 in a row, kids. Clean living. So that goes there. Oh, so that has another Froggy tile. Oh, that's bad. All right, this has a thing here. I mean, Froggy's just going to get knocked out, which is fine. But the problem is, yeah, because I'm going to have to roll. If I explore from there again, I'm going to have to roll there and roll again. But if I build on that next time, then do get an ROI or a point of interest, because there's one of those symbols on this tile. And it's the remains of a lander. I immediately get that until available. I'll just turn that in and get myself another gear part, is what it's showing me. So that's good. All right, so Froggy's alive. Yeah, I don't know if it makes sense to build there when I have that little symbol. I can come out here. We'll see what I put on that tile next turn. But oh yeah, this was here. So there was another thing on there. I moved that off when I successfully explored. Great. We're going to do this. So this is enough to succeed, but because that's broken, I do need to roll the blue die. Do I really succeed? So I would not have. I'm going to turn in my only morale token and hopefully try that again. I put a black in there naked. I use it this round. Oh my lord. I did not succeed. That's great. It's really just awesome. It's an awesome thing that happened there. Wow. Okay. That's fine. So I failed. That's astoundingly unlucky. And we're going to now, that's the end of the, and now we're going to the build. So I'm going to do this to try to fix the med lab. That flips over. So I spend 1 oxygen. I have to roll these 3 dice. They need to have a sum of 6 or more for me to successfully do that. I rolled a 3. So since I failed, this thing is still broken. Great. Now I'm going to try to fix the solar panel. So I have the part I need. I only have 1 pawn there, so I do have to roll I succeed and take a damage, no adventure. Great. So the part is used up. That's fixed. And now I can turn this from red to green. 1 out of 7 ain't bad. Alright, so we have to roll all 3 of these malfunction dice. I'm going to roll 100 now. There's the 6 I needed last time. So this goes up 3, this goes up 1, this goes up 2. That causes a malfunction. That's already red, so I don't need to worry about changing out a cube down here on the malfunction box. I do need to draw this. Alright, the broken spinning bike, the crew quarters, this part is now broken. And that is this. So of course, if it had targeted the med lab or the control center, it wouldn't have worked because they're shut down. But naturally, it targets the crew quarters. Great. Oh, then this goes. Oh, I fixed that so that I don't have to worry about that extra penalty there anymore. Awesome. So now we move on. Next phase, we're going to move the first player token. And we now are going to discard. Now that block marker came off, and we're good. So Soul 4, okay. System block goes up 1. Rovers, so event sand in the cogs. Rovers don't do well in sand. Strange. We can run extensive testing on Earth. Hub, that's freaking great, but we are on Mars. Take the direction deck. Shuffle and draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. We're putting another froggy token in the northwest, the west, and the northeast, which is fine. So get my last. I think I have enough froggy tokens. I don't. So I'm just gonna take these. There's already one of them, so I'm never going there. Where is it? The northwest, the west, and the northeast. So there's one here, and I'll put 1 there. So I'm never going there. It doesn't matter. There's not 2 there. I'm literally just going that way. I'm not no sense exploring there. All right, that's fine. So I'm gonna have to roll twice this next time. Froggy's probably gonna be out of commission in about 5 seconds. So first player is going to get one morale token. Okay, that will work. And then we're gonna go check oxygen. We're fine. But the stress level is gonna go up. It's gonna go up 6. Oh, it stops there. We both take a wound and we lose morale. This will go back to 0. And there are no more special rules. All right, so next phase. So I can spend 1. So I can spend 1 pawn and this gear to remove some of those froggy tokens, but I think Froggy's not lasting long. Anyway, I'm going to spend my 3 morale tokens during the production, so before action phase. I'm going to repair automatically this without having to even spend the part. Because the engineer is awesome. Great. That one event that gave me the 4 determination tokens was really nice, considering how poorly I've rolled every other time. We're going to have to go back and do this research action again, because we have to get another thing in there, which is fine. We're going to explore. So exploring is going to cost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 2, 3, 4, and probably should just guarantee it. Not worth messing around with this. So 5. Yeah, and then I'll want to build. So some of the one of the things I don't know, if I build my temporary base there, can I use Scorpio, or Scorpio always come out from the hub? That's fine. I just won't even bother. But I need to gather that, and I need to gather that. Oh, it's really bad. I will spend my last pawn to get rid of that token. And I can remove 2. So yeah, I'll just get rid of that 1 at least. All right, so I'm going to resolve the event. So I'm going to spend this and this. So I can remove 2 modifier tokens from any region of interest. I'm just going to remove this 1 from here. And actually, this should be 1 there anyway. So I'll do that. So that is done. So I resolved that event action. We're going to do the explore. So I have 5. So actually, now that I removed that, I'm only going to have to roll once. So that's maybe Froggy will still live. Maybe he'll live. Maybe he won't. We'll see. That'd be an absurd run of rolls. So AOM, scientist, engineer, Froggy. So we successfully explore. Ring 2. Nice. There is no penalty on this one. There's also going to be a black cube there and a blue cube here. And we do have to roll once to see if Froggy can keep dodging bullets. Nope, Froggy's injured. So since that rolled, Froggy now gets a blocked thing on his depot space that can be repaired next round with a build action. So now you notice all these other working blocks, like those go away at the end of the round. The depot, whenever there's something in there, that has to be a build action to repair it. That's just the only way it goes. And then finally, we'll try this again. We don't have to re-roll a success. I have enough to guarantee success between the AOM and the scientist. So I'm going to remove 2 signals, and I'm going to put 1 on ring number 3. And that's going to put my 7th signal there. So actually I'll mess around with these. Where is the 6? 6. That looks like a 9. That is a 9. Funny that. So 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We have our path. So I can go to the mission log. I can say we created a chain of 7 signals, and that's good. And those are all of my actions. So now it's just a matter of gathering. We need to explore and gather there, and we need to gather 2 of those 3 black things. All right. And we do have, well, exploring up there without Froggy is going to be a little annoying, but you know, we can always heal him up. So next phase, we're going to roll these 3 dice. So I get 3, so that is going to malfunction. I have 1, and then this is off, so that goes up 2, and then a 1 there, so that's also going to malfunction. So we'll take care of the yellow. The part in the garage hall is broken. This part, don't even know what that means. What the heck is that? No rover can assist in explore action. All right, well, that's interesting. I guess it's not powered. Makes sense. This is the oxygenator. So this part is broken on the oxygenator. And that goes down. So that's it. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 broken parts in the hub. And again, I can only have 6 if I want to win this. So that is all done. We move on. We move the first player back to the scientist. Next round, day 5. All right. Log entry. Without a rover, everything seems so far away. Put this token on the garage hall space. And it is here. So what that means is this round is not going to apply, but next round it will, and the round after that it goes away. So that's, you know, it is what it is. So that's there. System block goes up 1, and then we have to resolve a puzzling headout. A signal. Oops, I didn't even know that did that. All right, a signal was detected near the hub. At first I thought it was just an anomaly, but it keeps coming up on the screens every now and then. MCEI, tell us more. Hub, something strange is going on outside. I am scared. Oh, poor scientist is scared. All right, so we're putting 1 adventure token on any 2 explored ROIs. If not possible, put 1 token on each ROI in ring 1. All right, so I'm going to put 1 there. An adventure token, and that means we'll just have to do an adventure. So I'll put it there because I'm never going back through that spot. And I'll put this one up here because that just makes the most sense. All right, that's fine. First player doesn't gain anything because we lost a morale at some point. Yeah, we lost a morale when we had our vicious fight last round. That was horrible. That's fine. We go from there. Oxygen, we're going to get stress equal to 2 plus 4, so we're at 6. There's no penalties from anything in the working block down here. Next. All right. Well, I probably need to get Froggy back, right? So the good thing is, so the garage hall is only for exploring. The probe bay is for gathering, and I can use Scorpio for the probe. Again, I need to gather 2 of those things. So I do want to fix Froggy, so I'm going to do a build action there to fix him. I'm going to do a gather action here. What else am I doing is the question. So this is going to be 3. So Scorpio only counts for 1 player, not 2. So he's going to count for one for a gather action. I definitely should guarantee success. Well, I can use, remember, I have the AOM. That's fine. So that will guarantee success there. And then I can use that AOM to guarantee success there. So then I have these 2. Probably should fix some things. Oh, man. That's -1, so it'd only be worth 1 pawn next turn, which isn't great. So let me fix. Yeah, I'll just fix that, and I won't even roll. But yeah, I'm trying to. A couple of things I need to. Well, 1, I'm going to want to use a rover and exploring, and 2, yeah. So it doesn't look like I'm building the temporary base. It's the 5th round, so 6th round I can gather, 7th round I can explore out there, 8th round I can gather. I think that's just how this is going to play out. Yeah, there's no sense risking too much. We'll see what the malfunction cards are, obviously, though. All right, so I'm going to so I'm trying to think about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it'll be 6 pawns. I did get a pretty decent path out there, and then an adventure, of course. So yeah, that's fine. So I'm going to gather. So I get this thing. It just gets discarded. So I've done 1 of the 2 times I need to do that action. Again, I need to find 2 samples, drop black markers, and it's just a gather action. And instead of, so if I wanted to gather like a blue sample that I could research later, that's another thing that can happen. But this time I'm just gathering that. So I've done 1 of those. I need to do 1 more. So that's done. We're going to do the, and now we're going to go to the working bay. So I'm going to repair Froggy. So he's no longer blocked. And that's done, and then I will repair this. That will go from red to green. One of the things I do like, I mean, the pawn economy is a lot better in this game, in a sense, than it is in Crusoe. Like, you do feel like, all right, I have enough pawns to like actually guarantee a number of actions instead of just like being so dependent on dice rolls. But it can be really frustrating still. All right, next phase. I have to roll all 3 of these dice. So I rolled a 3, so that goes there for the yellow. I rolled a 1, and then I have that, so that goes up 2. And I rolled a 1, and I have that, so that goes up 2. So that was nice. We don't have any new malfunction cards. We go to the next phase. This moves here, so again, it's going to be +1 pawn needed for the explorer this round. And then we go to we pass this over. First round. Boom. Soul 6. What's going to happen? Log entry. Critical damage. Part of the depot ceiling fell right on it. Fortunately, nobody's inside. Every damn small noise and everybody looks up. Ceiling thing was a devastating experience. Every astronaut discards all of his morale tokens. Well, I have none. That's great. Working block goes up 1. Getting very lucky there. And now communication bay broken by strong wind. Log entry. Although beautiful, they effectively blocked us from communicating with MCEI. Not much we can do about it now, though. Increased stress by 5. That goes up to 11. Awesome. Next phase. Don't gain or lose any morale tokens. And then we are good with oxygen. Stress level goes up 2 and then +4, so we're up to 17. Looks like we're going to fight again next round. Great. Just wonderful. Spend 2 to choose one malfunction track and reset it to 0. Oh, that's interesting. All right, so what do we need to do? I'm going to... That's just crazy. It'd be tempting to explore this to have a more direct route to there, but I just don't even think it makes sense. That's fine. So we're going to put... we're going to do a gather action, and it's going to be 4 pawns to guarantee now, because we're 1 further away from the hub, and I will have to roll the green die afterwards to see if I've injured Scorpio. Yeah, so you notice it's the roll of the green die even though I'm doing a gather action. So I need 4 to guarantee this. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I can't. There's no point messing around with this. I'm going to reset a malfunction track to 0. I don't hate that. This can get the working block can get really nasty. Like really nasty. So that's fine. So I'm going to use these 2 to resolve the malfunction track and reset it to 0 and try to avoid any unexpected garbage here. It's only the 6th hole. So if I can do this round, next round I can explore out there, and the last round I can gather out there, and that would be all I need to do to succeed here. So I'm spending the 2 pawns. Yeah, that's fine. 2 pawns to take care of that. I'm resetting this malfunction track down to 0. Done. We're going to do the gather action. I've gathered my 2nd of the black cubes from the path where the signals are. And so I will go to my log. Yep, got it. Next. That comes down. I do need to roll to see if Scorpio is injured. Scorpio is not. Nice. Good. So I can do Scorpio in round 8, which is what I'll need him for. We're going to do the pool of dice. I rolled a 2. I rolled a 1. But +1, so that will malfunction, and this will malfunction as well. Now you notice I'm not worried about like the remainders. So once something sets off, either for a fight with the stress track or that, you're fine. It is what it is. So you don't have to worry about saying, oh, it's actually, it's not like Fear and Spirit Island where you're like, oh, it's actually the remainder of 2. So I malfunction on both the top 2 tracks. The first player token discard. Never again will I. Dear Diary, never again will I. The first player discards all their morale tokens. I have none, so that was fine. And then this goes bad atmospheric mixture. Each astronaut gets a reroll token. Discard after use. I think that's a reroll token. Yes, if you needed to roll a success die and rolled a thing, you must reroll it once. And the only result of the second die applies, and as soon as we've done it, whether we succeed or fail on that, the first time we do that, the first time we roll a success and then re-roll, no matter what happens after that, we do get rid of that, just like the same die in Crusoe. All right, so malfunctions are done. Next phase. Nice thing about both of those cards, neither of them put any more broken parts on the hub. This comes off. So now we have full access to Froggy. Again, we missed him. And then next round, we are in Soul 7. This goes back to the scientist. Great. Done. Living block goes up 1. Hey, we can use potatoes another way. Event created by Vinici. Old Russian school. Lose 2 food. Fine. We got 2 food before. We'll lose it now. It's all good. Done. All right, first player. We're at 0 on the morale track. That's fine. Next phase. Oxygen, fine. Stress. Oh, we fought. All right, that goes to 0. We both take a damage. I, the engineer, so scientist jumped over 1, moved down 1. The engineer takes damage and jumps over that, so he does get a condition. And my condition, some of these are really brutal. Cannot use my skills. That's fine. I haven't even flipped my skill back up. I don't care. So that includes the skill on my little card here. Suspend 1 reroll on a round dice or my cards. So I have a migraine. I can't use my skills. Fine. We're good. If the med lab was healed, I could fix it and all this other stuff. But I don't need to worry about that. So that's done. I can produce a liter of moonshine, because why wouldn't I want to do that? I guess. It's great. So now we have to do our actions. So what's the action I really need to do? I really need to explore out there, because that is the end of the chain. Again, the signals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have to get out to that 7 so I can gather there next round. Remember, I can't explore and gather on the same round. You have to have the foresight and the planning. So I have Froggy back. I don't have to worry about anything on the garage hall. So that's 2 pawns, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to guarantee success. So not our rerolls aren't going to matter, which is great. And now we are going to. I'm gonna have to reroll for the gathering. Oh, it's really bad. I'm gonna literally. This whole game's gonna come down to a reroll because of this next turn. That's how that's gonna go down. Oh, that's great. It's really great. All right, so. All my actions are there. Oh, I do have AOMs. Interesting. I might try to get rid of this for one of these guys this turn. So if I add the Explore, and what do I want to try to do here? I will try to fix something that will make me reroll. That's not gonna work. Oh, I have no more gear. I can't even try to fix anything. That's so stupid. Oh, that's wild. So I only have oxygen and the squiggly amoeba thing, and the only things that are broken are gears. Oh, I could try to fix the squiggly amoeba thing. Great. I'm gonna try to repair this, and hopefully I roll a success so that I have to re-roll and I can get rid of that, just to try to take that off the equation. I do have this AOM. I don't want to use it, obviously. You know what? I'll put this AOM. Yeah, I'll do that. Because then the engineer will be controlling that guy, so then I can do the reroll anyway if I succeed. All right, so I'm going to. So I have up to 3 rounds to deal with this alcohol thing. This is the last round for me to have a chance to produce to deal with the other one, Ping, which I don't remember what that was. Again, things get a little bit lost with this app in a way I never really felt with Crusoe. So I'm going to spend that 1 pawn. I'm going to gain a determination token and prevent future consequences. Done. Do I want to do that with him? I'll actually have the scientist do it. So he gains a determination token, and we prevented future consequences. Great. Thank you, scientist. Now we go to the garage hole. We're exploring. We have 6 pawns there. A combination of all that stuff. Everyone comes wee all the way home. And now we're going to roll the green die to see if Froggy is injured again, because we had to go through that ROI. Froggy's not injured. Great. Now we're building. I have to roll. Controlled by the engineer. I succeeded. I have to reroll. This reroll comes off. I failed. So I don't repair this. This goes back to pending. It will still be available. Just like, again, just like when you fail to build a roof level, and then this will go back. So it did exactly what I wanted them to do. I just wanted to get rid of my, pawn, my reroll necessity. Oh, this was a successful explorer. So I should put that ring out. Nice. It has nothing special. So nothing else to worry about out there, and I get a point of interest as well. Let's see what this is. I would have immediate access to this. It is an X. So just like in Crusoe, where you have like the special symbols and each scenario says what they mean, this is actually navigation. I can remove one chosen direction card from the game. Would have been a lot helpful earlier. It's kind of garbage now. Great. So next phase, we're going to re-roll all of these. All right. Yellow goes up 1. That's at 3. Red goes up 2. Oh, sorry. Orange goes up 2 plus 1 because of that. So 1, 2, 3. And red goes up 2 plus 1 because of that. So 3. So not bad. We are done with that. Next round, first player goes back to the engineer. Soul 8. Last chance. Supervisor called the young moonshiner in the lab, so I lose a morale. Okay. Living block goes up 1. Of course it does. So that does mean I have to draw a card. Just goes down to 0. Crew quarters again. Each astronaut suffers a damage. 1, 2. Since I suffered a damage, the scientist now has to get a condition. And cardiac, ooh, that's really bad. So the cardiac disorder, so it basically means that I only have 1 pawn until I get rid of this. I have 1 pawn that I can only use to do a healing. Remember, my healing effect went to garbage before, and that is what it is. So that was a really unlucky draw there. All right, the hub system software. So this is the actual event we're doing now. The hub system software update we sent last night might cause some problems. Tell me more. Data exchange between facilities is surprisingly slow. We noticed simulation we just run shows it gets worse. We put 2 X's on any space on any 2 facilities. So I have to choose 2 facilities, and I can put an X on each while I'm not using the lab. And so what the X's mean, so X's can pile up in the on deck circle, and I'm actually not exploring anymore, and then they'll just move. So basically it would be 2 rounds in a row that you wouldn't have access to that. All right. If there's any other token that's rating, move it back. Oh, put 2 X's on any 2 facilities, and then put 2 X's on the actual. This is just nuts. Great. So I had to put 2 more X's out. I don't even have enough X's. I don't understand. Great. So these are just going to count for 2 each is how I will play that. I don't know where I think that's all of them. I'm not missing any. So yeah. All right. That's fine. We're going to go to the next phase. I'm missing 1 morale token, so I do take another damage. If I take 1 more damage, I die. I have to take a condition token. It is concentration difficulty. So if I ever do, interesting. Oh, when I explored there, shoot. So I went through that. I was supposed to do an adventure die. That's fine. I'll do it at the beginning of this round. Who was the lead on that? I think it was I'll just say it was the scientist. That's fine. So check. We are stressed. Of course we are. So that goes up 6. All right. So this is for a last round. I'll say it was the scientist. Log entry on the way. I studied the maps closely. I might be wrong, but it could be worth checking. I saw another way. I'm going to say don't take the risk. Why am I going to take the risk? Great. So now we have to do this gather action. So Scorpio is 1 pawn. We're doing a gather action on the last pawn. That's 2 pawns. I only have 5 pawns total because the biochemist had to he now has a cardiac condition. I mean, it's been a really stressful day. So of course, since this concentration difficulty, since that means that the engineer is involved at all, whether I was the lead pawn or not, I do have to take an adventure, and I already have taken an adventure because of this. So I'll be doing 2 adventures with the engineer, or do adventures at the end of this, and I'll have the engineer be the lead because actually I'll have the bio. So I'll have this. Actually, I'll be a support. I'll have the bio of the scientist take the lead, and since the way concentration difficulties works, since I'm a support pawn, I'll actually be the person who is carrying out the action that will have to do the adventure. All right, since I'm only assisting. So we'll just kind of load up the scientist. Only being 1 away from dying, it probably makes the most sense to do that. Oh, but shoot. Nope. I can't do that. I need to carry it up because, again, I'm the one who doesn't have to reroll. And we will have to roll because it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So, yeah, we're going to have to roll. So I don't want to have to roll twice. So here it is. All the marbles, kids. Doing a gather action. Yeah, there's really nothing else I can do. I mean, I'll take... That's dumb. Yeah, we'll put that AOM there. It doesn't matter. Yeah, there's no. I can't really do anything else. So I'll just waste my AOMs. I'm not just wasting time. All right, all the marbles. Rolling success and an adventure. So we're doing 3 adventures, but I have gathered. Let's see what these adventures are. All right. So the 1 adventure, all 3 of them, it's just the kind of action you're doing. So you're just going to do, we did explore adventures for this, again, the scientist did an explore adventure because I forgot to do it last round. Now we're doing 3 gather adventures with the engineer. The first one, what have we here? Log entry, stuck in a rich deposit of calcium, but driving it all the way to the hub will be easy. Discard this adventure, click no or gain a blue cube. I will discard this adventure, yes. So I'm going to do my second one. So again, it's 1 because of concentration difficulties, 1 because of that, and then 1 because I rolled thing. And I didn't need to reroll because I got rid of my reroll thing. So gather, engineer, what is it? Put this token on the probe base space. It is that token, fine, okay. And then last one, please don't kill me. Research, risk of overheating, research report having... Why did they do that? Having investigated the cooling system, I established the drill coolant pump should be replaced. No effect. Okay. Dunskies. So we go here. I took the action and explore and gather actions on the last ROI in the chain. So that's fine. And I couldn't do that, right? Because stupid cardiac disorder. So next phase. First play, we have to roll this. I rolled a 3, so that's going to malfunction. I rolled a 1 plus 1 gets to 2. 1 plus 1 gets to 5. So we're grabbing this malfunction dice. We're going to put this token on the froggy time space. So that means every time I use froggy. Oh, and I should have to roll a green die to see if I've injured. Just for the sake of thoroughness. Have I injured Scorpio? I did. So Scorpio is actually X'd out. That's fine. All right. So every time I use Froggy for now, if I obviously had more rounds, then I have to pull an adventure. I had to roll an adventure die for that. That's fine. So that's not bad. And this malfunction, this part is now broken. On the oxygenator, this is now red. So what do I have? I only have 4 broken parts in the hub, which isn't bad. Next phase. So this with this card, remember this counts as 2. I don't have enough X's. I don't think there were any more, which is really weird. So this counts as 2. So that would still stay. This would move over here. These remain in the depot. We go to pass this first player back here. Next round. Mandatory mission objective completed. Check the threshold value. Do you... Oh, actually, I kept saying 6. It's actually... No. I don't know why. The threshold is 6 broken parts on the hub. This says, do you have less than 7? So I guess yes, I have less than 7. Okay. Epilogue. It tells me I'm awesome. Success, you found the probe and the samples. It turned out the samples contained evidence of silicon-based life forms. And that's right, kids. We have found life on other planets. That is that. So, look, this is... there's an article on Board Game Geek about this game just being a super lesson in failed design, and it resonates with me. It's interesting. I know there's some... I know, like... the Broken Meeple. There's definitely some people that are like, it's an interesting game. If you really love space themes and you like Crusoe, and this could be the game for you. I don't. This to me is the most fun of the missions. I like the puzzle of having to chain together the 7. The rest, I'm just like, man, you're just gathering plants and roll to resolve, and just it's more of that super tight action economy stuff. No margin for error, but you keep rolling failures, and the deck just keeps making your life miserable. The shutdown, and it's like, man, it's bad enough. Like, you shut something down, well, then let me fix it. No, I have to roll 6. All right, well, I mean, like, there's really... And look, Spirit Island, right? When you have a really complicated thing in front of you, you make a plan, and the event cards might change it, but at least you're going to accomplish what you're setting out to do. Mage Knight, it's like, great, I'm going to try to seize this castle, and if it might not work out, and you might have to figure out a way to try to make it work, but it just might not happen. Here, it's like, it's kind of demoralized in the sense that the things that keep happening around you, you just feel so not in control of it, and there's really no rhyme or reason other than you just roll the dice wrong. And like Zed's has a lot of that roll to resolve in a sense, but that to me is still different because there's so many more actions you're taking. There's 20 rounds. You have so many actions each turn. You have the special actions. You have like an overall strategy. This is just, the strategy part is, all right, how do we get the 7 in a row? That's cool. And then the rest of it just kind of falls apart for me, to be honest. But, yeah, I was hopeful. I was hopeful this would give me a new appreciation of Crusoe. And I think it just actually, in some ways made me wish I was playing Crusoe and made me realize why this game really isn't for me. So I'm gonna pack this up, and I will probably never open it up again. But I did want to get this on the channel, and hopefully one of the things I forgot to do is I have these upgrades. At any point, you could just discard an upgrade and get those the spare parts. So if there was potentially more I could have done and tried to fix something or whatever. So that's like kind of helpful little thing. And if you play the introductory mission, like that's almost like a must where you're discarding these to get the parts because you're gonna need them to do some tweaking and stuff. But there is it's a pretty limited system, and the different scenarios is basically take the limited system and kind of put it into a new context. Again, I've heard really good things about the campaign. I'm not looking to spend an hour and a half per 5 scenarios, and so and if you fail, looks like you have to replay some of them from what I could tell. So you're probably looking at a 12-hour commitment that I'm just not interested. I got too many other games. I want to be a little bit more selective in how I spend my time, especially as this channel grows. But questions, comments, epiphanies. I hope this playthrough was helpful for someone who is like, hey, this game is for me. I love Crusoe, and I think I would really like this. Or someone who's just like, just curious and just wanted to watch this all the way through. I appreciate it. Definitely a bit of a change of pace for the channel. I will try to find this this AOM card for the build dice. But either way, you can go on my Patreon page. You can see what's upcoming. And on the channel, I have the link in the description below. Again, lots of Spirit Island, lots of Maze Knight. Got my every 4 weeks, I'm putting an Arkham live playthrough on the channel. Just kind of, working through the Dumbled's Legacy campaign, and then additionally, again, making room in my collection for Cloudspire and Too Many Bones and some other games coming in the new year. But thank you for your support and the comments and the likes, and I really appreciate it. And until next time, happy gaming.